Today, we are witnessing a decision that is going to echo for generations. An executive order that doesn't just tweak a policy, it completely rewrites the energy DNA of the United States military. This is the story of how the most advanced fighting force on Earth is deliberately turning back the clock. And you need to understand why. Mark the date, February 11th, 2026, because this is the day the American defense landscape changed, maybe more than any day since the Cold War. With the stroke of a pen, decades of military investment in green energy are about to be wiped away. You know, for years, it seemed like the path was set. The Pentagon was all about solar panels, electric vehicles, a smaller carbon footprint. But a new White House statement just made it brutally clear. That's all over. A new doctrine, powered by a very old fuel, is here.
So, how on earth did we get here? In this explainer, we're going to break it all down. We'll start with the Cold War-era legal weapon they dusted off to make this happen. Then we'll follow the money. We'll dive into the hardcore lethality doctrine driving this whole thing, look at the shockwaves it's causing around the globe, and finally, we'll size up the massive, high-stakes gamble America's taking.
Really, it all boils down to this one question. In an age of artificial intelligence, space dominance, and drone warfare, why is the Pentagon going back to coal? The answer is not simple, and frankly, it reveals a pretty startling new vision for American power. So let's start with how they're legally pulling this off. To make a move this big, the administration had to dig deep into the history books and pull out a legal tool that is powerful and frankly very old. The president isn't just asking nicely. He is invoking the Defense Production Act of 1950. Yeah, you heard that right. This is a law from the height of the Cold War, designed to fight the Soviets. It gives the White House the incredible power to basically force private companies to prioritize government work, all in the name of national security. Okay, so what's the official story here? The administration's argument is that relying on so-called intermittent energy, wind and solar, makes our most critical military bases vulnerable. Intermittent just means the power isn't always on. The sun goes down, the wind stops blowing, and for a military base, that's a nightmare. It can mean your missile defense shield goes down. Their answer is what they call firm baseload power, a constant 24/7 stream of juice that they argue only something like coal can guarantee. But let's be real. This isn't just about energy security, not by a long shot. This is also a massive economic play with a very specific audience in mind. And that brings us to the next piece of the puzzle, powering the coal belt. The whole thing kicks off with a quick injection of $175 million. And to be clear, this is way more than just a subsidy. This is a lifeline. It's designed to bring aging power plants that were basically heading for the scrapyard, roaring back to life. And that money is laser-focused. It's flowing directly to plants in 5 states, right in the heart of America's traditional coal country. For the people in these places, this isn't just some abstract policy. It's a promise. It's a defense of an entire way of life that many thought was history. And here is where you see the political genius, or maybe the cynicism of the whole thing. By tying the military's ability to function directly to the health of the coal industry, they've wrapped the industry in the American flag. It creates this powerful national security shield that makes the policy incredibly difficult to attack. But to really get why this is happening, you have to understand who is behind it. This isn't just about money or power grids, it's being driven by a core belief. And that brings us to the man himself, the architect of this new doctrine, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. Since he took the job, Hegseth has pushed for a radical change in thinking. His argument is that the military got soft, that it got distracted by what he calls woke moralizing and trying to solve climate change. His vision is brutally simple: lethality. He wants to strip away every other mission and focus the entire military on one thing and one thing only: winning wars. And he's not exactly subtle about it. His own words, the military's job is to kill the enemy and defend the nation, not to solve climate change. You can't get much clearer than that. This new coal policy is the perfect expression of that idea, using America's own resources to power its war machine, no apologies. But not everyone is on board, not by a long shot. The alarm bells are ringing from strategic experts. They're warning that this creates a huge competitive disadvantage. Because while the US is looking backward for its fuel, rivals like China are pouring trillions into dominating the clean technologies that are going to power the rest of the 21st century. And that's the thing, right? A decision like this doesn't happen in a bubble. It sends massive shockwaves all over the world, and it's setting the stage for a totally new kind of conflict, a global energy clash. And here's where things get really fascinating. The US is going back to coal for national security. Meanwhile, China is telling the world it's the leader in renewables. But, and this is a huge but, China is also building more new coal plants than everyone else combined. It looks like China is playing a brilliant double game, position themselves to sell green tech to the world tomorrow while using cheap, dirty coal to power their own rise today. They're trying to corner the market on both.
Now, imagine you're in Europe. America's NATO allies have staked their entire political and economic futures on a green transition. And now they wake up to find their main protector, the United States, running in the complete opposite direction. This creates a massive point of friction, a fundamental crack right down the center of the Western alliance.
So when you put it all together, the old laws, the targeted money, the hardline philosophy, and the global reaction, one thing is crystal clear. This is an incredibly high-stakes gamble. So let's do our final analysis on what this all really means. And you can't ignore the political theater. Today, the president is literally getting an award, the undisputed champion of coal at a big White House ceremony. You've got coal execs, miners, everyone there. It's a victory lap, sending a powerful message that the so-called forgotten man is now the one powering America's military. But behind all the photo ops, there's a harsh reality. Can these old, creaky power plants actually handle the insane energy demands of a modern military base full of sensors and AI data centers? Can they be hardened against a 21st century cyber attack? That $175 million? That's just a down payment. Experts say the real price tag is going to be billions.
So we are left with this one fundamental question. Is this a pragmatic, smart return to strength, securing the nation's power with a reliable fuel we have right here at home?
Or is it a historic blunder, a step into the past that just hands the future of energy to our global competitors, all for a short-term political win? Because that's what this is in the end. It's a gamble, a massive bet that the reliability of old fuel today is worth more than the strategic power of owning the energy of tomorrow. And it's a decision that is going to define American power for a very, very long time. So I really want to know what you think. Is this a brilliant move to secure the military, or a short-sighted policy that seeds the future? Let us know down in the comments. And if you want to understand more of these huge moments that are shaping our world, make sure to subscribe and check out the next explainer coming up on your screen. Thanks for watching.